The war was ringing the tills for corporate America. But what about their people, civilians on the front line? Was profit put before their safety? Over 1,000 KBR truckers deliver the bullets and the beans in huge convoys, snaking across the Badlands. It feels like a million miles away from Oregon, where I met the family of one driver who signed up for KBR in Iraq. Reggie Lane was attracted by the pay and the advert, which assured him he'd be 100% safe, not a promise the military would ever make.
They had promised that the people who would go over there to work would be well protected.
But Reggie found himself dodging bullets. There weren't enough troops to protect the convoys. Angry truckers even filmed themselves under fire.
God damn! I am down!
Reg is not one to tell me that they're getting shot at.
I'm fixing to get killed, goddammit!
He's not one to tell me that it's terrifying over there.
April the 9th, 2004 was Good Friday. KBR convoys came under sustained, coordinated attack from first thing in the morning. One driver was kidnapped, his ordeal recorded by a film crew passing at that moment.
What's happened?
Oh.
They attacked our convoy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Several hours after the attacks began, Reggie was told to go out on a convoy.
And these drivers knew something was up, and they were ordered by the KBR to get in their trucks and to drive. He took an RPG through the window of his truck. It went in the window and took off his right arm, just below the elbow. And then someone shot him on his left arm and shattered both bones. And it was in pretty bad shape. Lost a lot of blood.
Reggie's heart stopped. His brain was severely damaged.
He can't taste a cold beer, and I think he'd like to do that. He can't put his arms around me.
Six truckers and 2 soldiers died that day. Many others suffered serious injuries.
KBR promised protection for these people, and I think they failed to provide it.
"19 truckers' families are suing KBR for failing to protect them. 110 civilians working for KBR have been killed in Iraq. KBR says its priority remains the safety and security of all its employees, and it is saddened by the events of April the 9th. But 2 KBR drivers told Congress the company ran empty trucks across Iraq, despite the risk to their truckers. No one knows why, but with cost plus, the more they rolled, the more KBR made. A Pentagon audit found that Halliburton overcharged by $108 million for supplying and trucking fuel. Critics reject Halliburton's protest that out of revenues of $20 billion, they only made $500 million profit because of the difficult environment.
It gets me very angry when I think about the waste of money and mismanagement. A war shouldn't be an opportunity for some people to get rich. while our young men and women are making, in many cases, the ultimate sacrifice of their lives.
Mr. Waxman's committee only began probing the contracts in Iraq a year after the invasion. But not to worry, somebody had been keeping watch before that. So where would you find a reputable auditor capable of overseeing all those billions? In the financial powerhouse of New York, perhaps? The reality's less Wall Street, more Wisteria Lane. It's here the story of the missing billions becomes really bizarre.
It's hard to believe it, but this quiet neighborhood in Southern California actually holds the key to the secret of what happened to billions of dollars that have gone missing.
This ordinary-looking house in La Jolla is home to Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Howell and their company. Its speciality? Kitchen design. But the Howells apparently have other skills. Another of their companies registered in the house, North Star, won the contract to set up an oversight system for all those pallet loads of cash that arrived at the palace after the invasion. The contract asked for certified public accountants. North Star had none.
Keep going a little bit more and stop.
To this day, $8 billion North Star was overseeing is not properly accounted for.
Mr. Howell?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. We wanted to know if we could ask you some questions about North Star and Iraq. We're doing some research into the Iraq Reconstruction Fund.
Yeah, there's nothing basically to answer. It's all documented.
And was it a Pentagon contract, or?
Yeah.
And can you say any more about that? But can I ask you why the job wasn't done, Mr. Howell? The Inspector General for Iraq said the job wasn't effectively done. So why did they get the contract?
Well, we don't know why they got the contract. It's inexplicable to us. It looks like a sweetheart deal that they got this contract because they didn't have the capability or the competence. They were chosen without competing bids. And we're not sure what they did for that contract.
Sheer deception. Great. Still the way steering wheel.
Even the clouds are brighter.
North Star was small time compared to what some of America's biggest corporate names began to fritter away in Iraq. Congress appointed.
And we're interrupting our normal programming here on BBC World News to bring you the very latest of the ongoing story in Gaza, the conflict going on between the Israeli military and Gaza. We're getting reports, eyewitness reports, talking about a mosque being hit in northern Gaza. Our correspondent inside Gaza, who's been tracking this story for us for a week now, is Rushdie Abu Alouf. Rushdie, what's happened here, do we think?
Yeah, so far witnesses and medical sources is talking about Israeli airstrike targeting a mosque called Ibrahim al-Makadma mosque. According to witnesses, the mosque was full of people doing the noon prayer or the evening prayer.
Rushdie Abu Alouf live in Gaza. Rushdie, thanks very much. And just to reiterate there, those pictures that we were showing you, they were the pictures that we've been garnering and gathering together, if you will, over the past few hours, daytime pictures from Gaza. We're not saying that what those pictures were showing us was pictures of this actual mosque coming under attack. But just to recap on what Rushdie was telling us, there have been several targeted attacks on mosques since this campaign began. We're now into week 2. We're heading into day 8. This is the first time that we know of, within the past few days, that a mosque has been very, very, very busy. Lots of people inside that building. And the eyewitness reports talking about several people having lost their lives, including women and children. We'll have more on that story for you between now and the top of the hour. That's in 19 minutes' time. Stay with us here on BBC World News. We'll return you now to our normal scheduled programming.
Spree. But did they go for the market leaders in military hardware? No, they went to Poland.
عملوا عقود مع بولندا.
They signed contracts in Poland to buy aeroplanes, to buy ambulances, to buy armored personnel carriers, to buy ammunition. The money was paid out, but the equipment was never delivered, or when it was delivered, it was faulty or obsolete and rotten.
Shalan's gang bought bargain basement hardware, but they claimed for top-class stuff. They diverted the ministry's funds into a company called, appropriately, the Ever-Flowing Spring. It channeled money into their own bank accounts.